Okay, so today we're going to do a quick walkthrough of the electrical system on the Toyota Tundra camper. This is one of the things we upgraded prior to our trip where we spent 3 months living out of this and working out of it. So we upgraded all Victron components, but before I get into this, let me just show you what we have in the camper that runs off of the electrical system. So right inside the door, front door you walk in, we've got our propane monitor. Now this is wireless. This is battery operated, does not run on the system, but definitely recommend this off Amazon. See, we got about half a tank of propane. This whole switch panel is on our electrical system. You've got our awning open and close, exterior porch light. These are 2 extra pre-wired switches, and then the tank heaters and the water pump. Next to that, we've got a programmable residential style thermostat. This is super nice because it enables us to turn the heat down at night and then automatically have it come on. So we don't really notice it, it just saves us some propane. This is battery operated, and then it controls our propane RV furnace. Coming into the kitchen area, we've got a straight electric fridge. This is one of our larger loads, but I wanted to have an electric fridge so we didn't have to worry about venting it. Originally this had a 3-way fridge that ran on propane. We sealed up all the vents and went to a straight electric fridge so we could be a little better insulated and consume less propane. So this is a Dometic AC/DC fridge. Also in the kitchen area we've got both 12 volt and 120 volt outlets. So the 120 volt outlet here, this is only going to run if the inverter's on or if we're on shore power. These will have the ability to run all the time. So you've got USB, cigarette style, and then an on-off switch. Everything has an on-off switch, so we don't have any phantom loading or any phantom drains. Wireless chargers next to the bed. Also on-off switch. 120 outlet that's also on the inverter or shore power. And then just a little battery-operated fairy lights in the bedroom area. As I mentioned, we do have a water pump, so we've got pressurized water. The stove has a little light inside of it. The furnace is propane, but there's an electric fan that is actually quite a big load. And then our carbon monoxide detector. All of the lights in here are switched on the light. So we've got this skylight that has built-in light around it. You can see the switch there. And then each of the regular RV style lights are just switched on the light. I found that to be easier than wiring switches on the walls, and then you got to find the switch on the wall. It's just, you know, the camper is only 6'6" inside, so it's easy to just reach up and turn the lights on. This is our DC air conditioner. Obviously didn't use it much on our ski trip, but it's nice to have, and it is 12 volt DC. And then in the back of the camper here we have our electrical system, and the radio is this top one here. Remote inverter turn on, our distribution panel, our solar disconnect, and then the bulk of the electrical system. This is the cover for the Lynx distributor. So this is the dinette back here below this first bench here. So I'm sitting across from it, just so you kind of get perspective. So below this bench is our battery bank. So the batteries are inside the camper, so they're heated, they stay warm and don't freeze. These are 200 amp hour AGM Renogy deep cycle batteries. The system is 12 volt. And then you can see our main fuse right down there. I believe that's 400 amp hours, and then these are 4-knot cables. Also down below here, and there's also a cover that goes here too. I just opened it up to show you. The rear of the camper is where the shore power plug is. And then down below the dinette, down below there you can see, that is our automatic transfer switch. So that's 30 amp hour automatic transfer switch. So when you plug into shore power, it kicks over all of the AC loads to shore power, and it also activates our AC charger. So from the battery, the cables go to the main fuse I showed you, and then they run up here. This is our main disconnect. So if we want to shut the batteries off and isolate them from the system. On the negative side, they come to the Victron Bluetooth shunt. So there's an app on my phone that I can see battery state of charge and just overall keep an eye on the system. The second ground goes down to the chassis. So that goes to the frame of the camper, or the frame of the truck actually. So both the truck and the camper share a common ground. These are connected directly with these big copper tabs. I got those from Explorers Life, which is an excellent resource and pretty competitive pricing on most of these components. They also will sell you schematics of how to do your system, which I did end up buying. I think I just bought one of their pre-made ones. It wasn't very much money, like 10 or 15 bucks. But I was doing this time on a time crunch. I want to just double check and make sure I was thinking about everything correctly. So well worth the money and the peace of mind. This is the Victron Lynx Distributor, 1000 amps DC. I wasn't gonna buy this at first, but I'm glad I did. I don't think it cost any more in the long run, and it's just a really clean, convenient way to connect all of your big DC loads. So you've got a positive bar and a negative bar, and then you've got your fuses. So this is my air conditioner, the distribution box, the AC inverter, and then our DC to DC charger. We also bought these ATA fuse places from Explorers Life, so this gave us 2 additional spots, and this is for our AC to DC charger and our solar charger. So the first piece in line here is our solar charger. This is Victron, and these are all smart chargers, so there's a Bluetooth capability, there's an app for all of these, and you can see exactly how much solar you're taking in, which is very convenient. So these go, the battery side goes into the Victron distributor, the PV side goes up to the solar disconnect up there, and then up to the panels on the roof. We've got 2 100-watt panels on the roof, so not a ton of solar, but it does help out and make a difference. Primarily on this trip, we relied on this center DC to DC charger. So this is 12 volt, 30 amp DC to DC charger. So this runs off of the truck's charging system. So whenever the voltage is high enough, this automatically turns on and then charges the camper batteries with the alternator of the pickup. The nice thing about all these Victron components is you can go into that app, you can modify the different voltages that the chargers charge to. You can modify the charging dynamics a little bit, so you can really hone them in for your exact battery types. And having the Bluetooth, so you can see that it's working and on, and what your battery's at, and how many watts you're pulling out of the battery is definitely worth it. And you don't have to wire in any other controllers. It's all just Bluetooth, and it worked pretty good. The range isn't great. We couldn't monitor this in the cab of the pickup, but we were it was satisfactory, I guess. One thing to note, this is the non-isolated DC-DC charger, so you can see it has only 1 ground. Because the truck and the camper share a ground, I opted for the non-isolated version. If your camper had its own grounding system separate from the truck, they also make an isolated version of this, which has 2 grounds, and they're isolated. Finally is the AC to DC charger. So again, Victron Smart Charger, 30 amp. And this runs when we're plugged into shore power. This will charge the DC battery bank. Also in this compartment is our power inverter. This is a 1500 watt, 3000 watt surge. Again, just something off Amazon, but this was already in the camper, so I opted to reuse it. If I was starting from scratch, I would consider Victrons or another name brand power inverter. A lot of them will have a built-in transfer switch, so a little easier to wire. But this was here, and I didn't have to buy it, and I thought if it went out, I could always upgrade. But we had good luck with this. Gave us plenty of power, and never gave us any issues. So Has a remote turn on, remote on off switch. Also in here, some of the wiring for the WeBoost. So that WeBoost goes through the wall there. And then the wire runs back in the chase. On this side, radio inverter, as I told you, this is our distribution panel. So this has both the AC and the DC in it. Basically there's a breaker for each of the AC outlets. And then we've got fuses for all of the DC components. I don't have it filled out in there, but I do have a notebook with it all filled out. And then serviceability is huge for me. So the bottom part of this cabinet actually lifts right up. And then you can get in behind here. That red box there is actually the WeBoost. So right here is the WeBoost main power box. These are extra circuits wired into those front switches. So if you needed to wire in something else that you wanted switched, it's ready to go. And then the back of the radio. It's just nice to be able to get at something in the event that you had a problem. The WeBoost comes out down here. So I've got another 12-volt outlet. It's got USB for charging the phone. And then this is the actual signal booster where you want to put your phone next to. Here's a picture of the dinette area with the electrical compartment all enclosed. To gain access to all the components only takes a couple minutes and the removal of a few screws. So on the outside of the camper is the electric awning, the outdoor porch light. We also have outdoor speakers, so at the radio you can choose to play inside, outside, or both. You can see the WeBoost antenna in the back. In this large storage compartment here, I've got all the cables. So if we were to plug into shore power, the surge protector, there's an adapter to go down to a regular drop cord, so from 30 amp down to 15 amp. Long heavy duty 15 amp cord. And then up here, so this outlet only runs on shore power. It's wired into the automatic transfer switch, so it only works on shore power. And then this is where the AC to DC charger plugs in. This outlet back here works on the inverter or on shore power. And then coming around to the back, this is the shore power plug. This is a twist lock style plug. Cord for that's also in there. That will complete the overview of the electrical system. Thanks for watching and feel free to comment with any questions.